morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday Coffee with Jigsaw, where we scan through last news and updates from across the Atlassian universe. I'm Nikki, and I have a Peanut here with you, and we are new members of Adam's family as a Halloween special.
What are you, darling? Where's your costume?
This is my costume. I'm a homicidal maniac. They look just like everyone else.
Yes, and I'm usually Biro, but today I'm from Peaky Blinders. We're the founders of Jigsaw, a fast-growing marketplace partner building delightful project and product management apps for Jira Cloud. You can check more about what we do on our website, jigsaw.io.
And before we start, Peanut already ran away, but a quick mention, the links for the sources of the topics we are going to discuss today are all linked in the description or in the comment below. So, the first news, before we go to all new Atlassian product improvements that were launched last week, there is a new community event called Premium Week. The event will be running from 15th to 19th November. And the main goal is to introduce you to the Atlassian premium products on Confluence, Jira, and Jira Service Management. And unlike other events, this one is more of a competition. So you will be collecting points by attending webinars, sharing what you learned in the community, and so on. And there will be also daily prizes, which you can win together with your team. And you're also going to get a chance to win something called Grand Prize, but I didn't find anywhere any mention about what these prizes are, unfortunately, so I guess it's a big surprise. So if you are interested in learning more about Atlassian premium products, this might be a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It seems like the whole competition, contest, win prizes type of format is working for Atlassian community, and they continue to bank on this, which is pretty cool.
Yes, competition after competition right now. Anyways, and as promised, I have some product news for you now. So there was one from many improvements announced last week, but based on the feedback in the comments so far, I think this might be a little bit controversial. So all Confluence users now will receive a personal space automatically. And if you are already a Confluence user and you don't have one, it will be created for you automatically over the next few weeks. The personal space is fully controlled by a user for whom it was created, and you can use it for all sorts of things like to-do lists, taking notes of things you want to remember, writing down ideas, and more. So basically anything that you don't want to include or isn't yet ready to be added to your company on Team Spaces. The feedback received in the comments so far is about the administration part. If there is any ability to disable the automatic creation of these personal spaces. So I was checking if there is a delete option in the personal space after it's created, which might help to keep your Confluence cleaner of these, and there is an option. However, there isn't any settings to disable this automatic creation. So if you're an administrator, you will still be able to create other people's spaces, so you can clean them up afterwards, but there's an option to switch it off yet.
Right, that makes sense. Well, that's really good feature upgrades news. I'm going to give you one as well. Speaking of new feature, Daniel from Atlassian announced last week the release of a new feature that enables you to filter the activity logs on your JSM tickets. And oh wow, what a tiny but useful implementation this is. You can now filter to the information you want, and Daniel's focus in this post is around the speed of understanding incident changes, which is super important, but all of the other filters are helpful as well. You get to list in the activity only comments or work log or alerts and so on. And if I'm not mistaken, the alerts and incident change are picked up in the ticket activity if you integrate with Opsgenie, where you and your team handle this kind of information. I'm honestly excited about this feature, and I really hope it rapidly makes its way into Jira issues as well, not just JSM tickets. And by the way, don't go looking just yet, because this feature is getting rolled out over the next 2 to 4 weeks.
These are some pretty cool features for Jira Service Management, and you remember that we were already announcing, I think, a month ago, changes to integration to Opsgenie and Jira Service Management from Daniels. They're progressing really fast. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So the last improvement that we have for you today is for Confluence, and it's especially useful for everyone who is creating a lot of Confluence content that needs to be reused. So up until now, you could only use one excerpt macro on Confluence page to create a reusable content, but with this new improvement, you will be able to add multiple excerpt macros on the same Confluence page, and then you can reuse this content as well. So a great example of how you can use these multiple excerpt macros is legal documentation. So you can have one Confluence page that can include different legal statements, and each legal statement will be tagged with a different excerpt macro. And then you can use excerpt include macro, which is the other one, to reference these statements in your other Confluence documentation. So this is quite handy improvement to create kind of like a reusable content that is much easier to maintain.
Yeah, agree. It seems like Confluence is progressing fast. This JSM, Jira, Confluence, it's feature after feature, which is great to hear. It gives us a reason to exist, right?
Yeah, indeed. And actually, I didn't know about these except macros up until now, and they seem to be really useful. So, for example, a use case for us could be our documentation for each of our apps. So each of our apps is on a different Confluence space, and we need to have a legal documentation there. And we create these documents for each of the apps separately, which might be harder to maintain if you want to do the changes. So you could have a one page with this excerpt and then just include them in all of these.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a use case for us, but I'm sure that other people will find a lot of use cases for the functionality. Right. We're now talking about Atlassian quarterly financial report, which is out. Woo-hoo. And along with it, of course, the letter from the founders detailing the happenings across the organization. The article talks about the migration momentum's boost to cloud revenue and the ever-improving migrations hub resources. Section also mentions Atlassian's focus on the three offering pillars: agile development, ITSM, and work management, and how partnerships with other companies in this space are taking shape, consolidating the integration strategy. And the third section of the letter is dedicated to social responsibility and sustainability, mentioning the fact that being an early signatory of the Trusted Cloud Principles initiatives and the sustainability report. We covered a lot of what's in the letter along this quarter in our Monday coffee streams. So if you're watching us weekly, this letter will not take you by surprise. What is, however, interesting here is the actual financial reports. It clearly shows the push to cloud, with cloud revenue doubling over the last 2 years and achieving a 53% year-on-year growth this quarter. Data center seems to be also moving fast, with close to 3x growth in the last 2 years. And if we look at the quarterly revenue, we can see that Q1 of 2022, this quarter that just ended, is almost double Q1 2020. And to be honest, at this pace, Atlassian will probably hit 1 billion in quarterly revenue by somewhere 2023.
So you mentioned that the cloud revenue increased significantly. So now cloud revenue is split from the data center revenue.
Yeah. So in the reports, they're separate, and I think they've always been separate, and they're going to continue to be separate because they're different type of businesses. So yeah, but it increased drastically. The data center increased quite significantly as well, but cloud revenue is a lot larger. It's still the dominant a revenue stream for Atlassian currently.
That is great to hear. So especially like data center increase is not as surprising because they were increasing the pricing and a lot of people from server might be moving. But the cloud one is really good to know and kind of good surprise.
Yeah. As an effect of this positive financial growth revealed in the quarterly report, the team stock grew last week by more than 9%. Probably making a lot of shareholders happy. I mean, I guess we wouldn't know because we don't own any team stock or other company stock except for Jigsaw. So I don't know, Nikki, maybe that's something for us to explore in the future, given Atlassian's growth. I don't know.
Okay, let's see. Didn't invest in stock ever, but yeah, definitely interesting.
We have a tiny bit of cryptocurrency. Hashtag Dogecoin.
No, it's not part of this stream. Shouldn't. Yeah, but definitely more stable, I guess, than cryptocurrency.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay, so before we go, I want to let you all know that right after this stream, we'll be recording something, some behind the scenes, showing you our gear and the setup. I'm always asked how we film these, so I decided to make a video. If you're interested in finding out all of our secrets to Monday Coffee, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified when I publish the behind the scenes video. Should be somewhere later this week. And yeah, I guess that's about it for news about Atlassian. I hope you enjoy Monday Coffee with Jigsaw, whether you're watching us live or recorded later. Just a reminder, links for all of the topics we discussed today are in the description, so don't forget to check them out. If you have any suggestions on what we should be talking about next week, let us know in the comments.
Have a great week and happy Halloween! Or
Yeah.
scary Halloween. What you should say.
Happy Halloween. Scary Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
See you next Monday at 9:30. Bye bye.